What's good, YouTube? It's me, your boy Scotty, back with another video. This is a bit of a change from the typical video we do where we tell you to actually pick up cards that will go up in price or be relevant in the metagame. Instead, we're going to do a video about the cards that you need to sell right now before they plummet, which will happen in the next month as we get new product, as we get a new ban list, and as we get the new reprint tins, which will encompass a lot of the powerful cards that were released in the main core booster packs across this year. Okay, let's start. Off the top, BYSTIAL MAGNAMHUT. This is a card that's very, very powerful and has a powerful ability that's been basically meta warping since its conception. Now, the reason why I think you guys should move this card is first and foremost, we have a ban list that's coming. There's a high chance that this card will actually get hit on the ban list because it's so good in Dragon Links. It also prevents decks like Light or Dark from being, as good as they are in the metagame because the existence of MAGNAMHUT being able to search in the end phase another copy of a BYSTIAL is kind of annoying for those decks. And I actually think on top of the ban list, potentially limiting this card to 1 as it already is in the OCG, where the rest of the BYSTIALs are actually all at 1. It's kind of crazy. So this card will probably go to 1, but there's also a tin coming out, which will encompass Darkwing Blast that's coming out on the 3rd of September, which is in about a month's time. And this card is probably going to be reprinted in that. It's floating at around 12 to 13 USD right now. So it's a good time to move this now while you have the copies and then repick them up after the ban list or after the tin is released. Speaking of BYSTIALs, let's talk about BYSTIAL LUBELLION. This card is still flopping at a whopping $50 to $60, and that's actually crazy for a card like this. I know this card is a secret rare in Darkwing Blast, but there's a chance that it potentially gets hit on the ban list. Probably not, but it is at 1 in the OCG, so who knows, the ban list could just copy over there as we have seen history do already. And on top of that, this is a likely reprint in the tins, which means it's going to drop beneath $30, probably even $20, because the tins will be so mass-produced and everyone's going to be ripping open packs, and this card just happens to be a card that's basically only played in Dragon Link to my knowledge and maybe as a one-of in a branded deck, so now's a good time to move it. Another card that might actually get reprinted is Illusion of Chaos. This is a card that's floating around $30 to $40 right now, just for the sheer fact that it actually happens to be a part of the Dark Magician archetype, as well as being able to search a copy of Magician's Soul, so you can actually draw cards with card engines like the Adventure Engine. This is a good time to get rid of this card ASAP before it does get reprinted in the tins, and we've all seen history repeat itself where the card just drops beneath $10 even, because it's not really meta relevant. It's more of an iconic memory price memory card that happens to be a part of the Dark Magician archetype. Another powerful archetype is actually the Tearlaments archetype, and Primitive Planet, or rather Primeval Planet, PERLEREINO, is floating at around $20 USD now. This is probably guaranteed for a reprint in the tins, given how popular Tearlaments are and how much of a wave they actually made in the metagame. I could definitely see Konami reprinting the entire Tearlament engine in the upcoming tins, and I think PERLEREINO will be no exception. This is the type of card that's archetype-specific secret rare, which means it's probably going to fluctuate between $5 to $6 maximum after the tin settle, and if any indication of the past is an indication of what they might be reprinted as, we'll probably see this card be reprinted again in secret rare form, which means that the original copy will plummet well below $20. So now is a good time to get rid of that as well if you have it. This might be a little bit of controversial opinion, but Revolution Synchron is right now around $50, and I have to say this card was massively overhyped. I thought this card was going to be meta warping as well because of the fact that you can just synchro for free into something like an Ancient Fairy Dragon, but it turns out that the power creep in Yugioh just makes it so not a lot of level 4s can actually survive in the current vacuum of a space that we have in the metagame. So just having decks that rely basically on Revolution Synchron are not very popular, and the decks that can, like Vanadium, already intrinsically have powerful combo lands that can be made without relying on Revolution Synchron. So it doesn't really make any sense for this card to be powerful in the metagame, and I think as we get premier events, people will start realizing that this card will fall off. Not a lot of people will be playing this, if any, in their decks, and it will probably plummet in price more and more and more, especially because we don't have Chaos Ruler to abuse it in a deck like Tearlaments. So now's the time for you guys to definitely get rid of it while you still can. Moving on, we have KASHTIRA FENRIR. This is another card out of Darkwing Blast that will probably get reprinted in the tins, and if not, they will get neutered on the ban list because KASHTIRA definitely has a huge target on its back. So if FENRIR is not getting hit, the rest of the archetype will get hit, and I think along with the potential reprint, even if this card stays at 3 past the ban list, it will probably drop in price. So while it's around $25 US for a ultra rare copy, now's probably the time to get rid of it while you still can. Another card that's archetype specific is Blazing Cartesia. This is a powerful card that a lot of people have hyped up in Branded, but it turns out that Branded is just not a very good deck right now at all. And this card is still $40 for some reason, because mainly it's a waifu secret rare first edition card, I would imagine. But this card will probably get reprinted as well in the tins, which means that it's going to drop. And because it's archetype specific, it will probably fluctuate to a maximum of $10, I would say ish, given how the marketplace has shown a little bit of disdain for archetype specific cards, secret rares, stuff like that. In the previous 10 reprints that we've had, the prices pretty much just go whoop and plummet right down. So if you do have a copy of this and you're not playing Branded, then definitely see if you can move this card now while it's still fresh. Runick Tip is another card that I think you guys should move because the ban list is looming over our heads, and Runick somehow dodged the axe in the previous ban list, getting only Fountain hit to 2, which did basically nothing for the impact of that deck. I think Runick Tip has the biggest target on its back of any Runick cards because it allows you to search any Runick card, and it allows you to banish the top card of your opponent's deck or special summon, and this is like the main searcher of the deck. So having this at 3, being able to instantly get another copy of a Runick that you can use and put in your graveyard, puts 2 Runick names into the graveyard for you to shuffle back and draw a minimum of 2 cards with Fountain. So I think this is the card that needs to be hit if any card needs to be hit in that archetype at this moment. If you guys have this, it's around $20 right now. I would just move the entire Runick core now and then see if you can pick it up after the ban list, after everything fluctuates and settles down to a low price than it currently is. The next card we're going to talk about is definitely Visa Starfrost. This card for some reason is 25 to 30 USD, and that's absolutely nuts. But again, this is a chase card, a secret rare that has not been reprinted outside of its secret rare printing in the booster pack, as well as the ultra rare copy that was given out in the sneak peek promo. Now, this card is a key component in the Vanadium deck as a 3-of. It's a powerful extender, a powerful key combo piece that also allows you to go into Vicious Astrolaud. So everyone is kind of desiring this card. The demand is quite high, but I think this will actually get reprinted, if not in the tins, in the immediate future, because it's such a prevalent card in the metagame and such a powerful deck that's also iconic to the main lore of the current Yu-Gi-Oh archetype that's out there, you know, with the Visa Starfrost traveling different planets. So I think it's actually a good idea to actually move this card if you're not playing the Vanadium deck, because it will actually get reprinted. So now's a good time to actually get rid of it while you still have it and while it's very, very high priced. In the same realm of Visa Starfrost exists another card that's also played in the Vanadium deck called SCARECLAW, REICHHEART. And this card is a whopping $15 to $17 on TCG Player right now, which is surprising me because it's an ultra rare that was in a pack that wasn't really centered around the SCARECLAWs. A lot of people forgot about this card. This was initially bulk, but then people realized that this card, hey, is pretty good because it searches a free extender, goes into your SCARECLAW REICHHEART. It does a lot of things for the deck. And now I think is a good time to get rid of it because when this card gets reprinted, it will become bulk again. So get your free $15 while you can. If you have this card, just move it by all means possible. All the SCARECLAW cards in that realm, if they're a couple of dollars each, you might as well get rid of them now because it's in the off season and there's a ban list coming, and there is of course the reprints that are coming out soon. Speaking of reprints, I actually think SUBSTITOAD will get reprinted in the upcoming future. This is a card that has not been reprinted for over a decade now, and Edison hype in the Frog deck has made this card a whopping $20 for a rare. So if you guys have this card, definitely move it if you're not playing the Frog deck in Edison, because there's no chance that Konami is going to let this go unchecked for any longer than it already has been. I definitely think this card will get reprinted, if not in a upcoming set. For example, the OTS packs as a common, then it might have some sort of Edison set that will have a lot of reprints for the Edison format because they are trying to push the Time Wizard formats. The fact of the matter is we had this ultimate Time Wizard format for Edison that generated like a whopping 300 players on the side events at Nationals this year, the WCQ in USA. So I think that this card will actually get reprinted in some kind of side set to push the Edison format even further. They're probably going to release some kind of weird Time Wizard specific set that has a reprint of a bunch of powerful cards from that format, and Substitute is not immune to that set when they do print it. It'll probably be at the forefront of the cards that they do reprint. So if you guys have this card and you're not playing it, definitely move it now. And the last card I kind of want to talk to you guys about is actually Xyz's Encore. So this card is actually very good against Purelees because you can use it in the draw phase and then stop them from getting the draws in the standby phase off of Sleeping Memories. So you could potentially prevent them from getting up to 4 or 6 draws, even if they have 3 Sleeping Memories attached to their monster. And it's very powerful because it does not affect the actual card, it affects the player. So if they do have X Purely Noir on the table, this takes care of it because it forces your opponent to detach the materials and then it spins back the Noir without materials to the extra deck. Unfortunately, they will take advantage of the Stray Purely Street effect to special summon us Purely from the grave or the deck, as well as my friend Purely being able to add up to 3 quick play spell cards from their graveyard of the Purely archetype when that monster leaves the table. And they also, on top of all of that, get to special summon back either the black or the white cat that's beneath the XYZ monster which you targeted, because Xyz's Encore says that they special summon back the monster that are attached to it as material. So unfortunately, those are cute drawbacks, but this card is one of the cleanest answers to X Purely Noir, and I think that's why people realize that this card has a lot of legs. It hasn't been reprinted in the tin since like almost 10 years now, so that's why this card is still $15 for either copy. But I think that this card will get reprinted soon because there are not a lot of clean answers to X Purely Noir, and Konami probably realizes, hey, if we're not going to pit Purely as bad as they currently are, then that means we have to mitigate that by reprinting resources for players to take advantage of removing that card. So Xyz's Encore is probably going to get reprinted in an OTS or potential new product in the nearby horizon. So I would definitely recommend that you guys sell this now if you're not planning on playing any events competitively, or if you're not planning on siding Xyz's Encore, because there are a lot of other strategies to take care of Purely. You can play things like hand traps, you can play things like Thrust plus Herald the Abyss, you can play things like Kaiju's, Kurikara, so on and so forth. So that's just one thing to note. So anyways, that's all I had for this video. If you guys have any more cards that you think we should get rid of while they're high right now before they get reprinted or neutered on the ban list, definitely let us know in the comments below. Other than that, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.